I was married to the love of my life for 19 years, until one night she told me she was going on a date with a man from work. That night changed everything. So I packed my bags, hired a private investigator, and did something she never saw coming. My wife Sophia, a sexy 40-year-old mother of our 2 girls and the love of my life, dropped a bombshell. She was going on a date with a coworker tomorrow night. Sophia and I were just teenagers when we tied the knot. Our whirlwind romance led to a pregnancy and we married soon after, welcoming our daughter April into the world. For 6 months we had a blissful marriage with love and our 2 adoring children filling our lives. I had started my own landscaping business, which grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, affording us a fulfilling life. I never anticipated the speech my wife gave me that night. It hit me hard as I sat on the couch with a glass of scotch. Sophia confessed that since the kids had left for university, she'd been battling depression and felt unhappy. This revelation shocked me. I had thought we had a perfect marriage. Sophia disclosed that Elliot from accounting had become a close confidant, supporting her through her struggles, a fact previously unknown to me. The news stung deeply. Sophia had never mentioned feeling depressed or upset before, and the idea of her confiding in another man was painful. Knowing she wanted a deeper connection with him was devastating. It turned out that Elliot Boy, despite being married with 3 young daughters, presented himself as a counselor, but in reality he was nothing more than a predator lurking for unsuspecting victims. For Elliot, married women like my wife were easy targets, knowing they were vulnerable with no strings attached. "Henry, I can't do this behind your back and I hope you understand," Sophia said, her voice tinged with desperation, "but I just need to do this for me. I know it sounds selfish, but give me this one night to see how it goes." Enraged, I wanted to scream, but I knew Sophia too well. Once she made up her mind, there was no turning back. When she finished her announcement, I sat there in silence, my expression unreadable as she nervously perched across from me on the love seat. The silence between us was deafening, my refusal to speak palpable. Ignoring her plea, I calmly finished my scotch and rose to leave the room. "Henry, don't ignore me," she implored, frustration creeping into her voice. "Stop your pouting and childish behavior. This is happening and I needed to tell you before I did anything. I would never cheat on you and I need you to know everything that happens. We've always been honest with each other and I will never lie to you, baby." I stood there, staring at her, my gaze piercing. I must have looked like the incarnation of fury, because I watched her recoil, curling into a ball on the love seat as I continued to regard her in silence. I ascended to our bedroom, swiftly packing 2 days' worth of clothes and toiletries. Without a word, I strode past Sophia and out to my car in the garage. A cry has followed me. "Please, Henry, don't go. Everything will be okay. It's just one date, that's all, and it will all be over after just one night. Surely, you can give me that after 19 years, she pleaded. I shook my head in disbelief as I drove off, her words ringing hollow. I checked into the Ritz-Carlton that Thursday evening, paying the $100 per night without a second thought. I didn't care if I was in pain. I was determined to at least enjoy my accommodations. The barrage of calls and texts began immediately. After sending a single text in response, I blocked her number, informing her I would not be in contact until my return home on Saturday, following her betrayal. I knew those words would cut deep. The next day at work, I instructed my secretary to block any calls from my wife and informed security not to grant her access to the building. My plan was set and I refused to let anything derail it. At work and among my friends I was known as Henry Howard, a man of action, the one in charge, the guy who got things done. People know me as someone who follows through on what I say, and they look to me for leadership. At home, however, I adopt a docile, laid-back persona, eager to please and escape from my alter ego. It's a strategy that served me well for the past 19 years, yet it appears I've underestimated its impact. Looking back, I realize I should have been more assertive and steadfast in my domestic life, but I loved my wife and treated her like royalty. I once came across a quote that made me chuckle, but there's no humor in it now. Treat her like a queen and she will treat you like a servant. Those words have become my reality, but I refuse to let them define my fate. So on Friday morning I reached out to my brother, a detective in Tampa, for assistance. After explaining my predicaments, he connected me with one of his associates, Hunter Torres, a private investigator. "Hunter, this is Sergeant Cooper." My brother began. "How are you, my friend? Listen, my brother needs your help tonight. I'm calling in a favor. We need you to have one of your men follow his wife. Tonight. Yes, tonight. We need to find out who she's with and gather as much information as possible on this guy by Saturday morning. I need you to run his plates and get me his home address and phone number, and text it to me tonight. We want some photos of the couple as well. You know what we need. The photos can come over tomorrow, but tonight we just need the info on this man. Cooper instructed. This is short notice, but I owe you big time, so I'll do it. Hunter responded. You want the perp's phone and address tonight as soon as possible, and the rest of the photos and information we dig up tomorrow. What are you giving me to work with? Cooper inquired. Yes, that's what we need for now. I'll send over the wife's address, what time she's leaving, along with the first name of her date. I'm told he works with her at Coleman Unlimited, and his name is Elliot. Henry interjected. So this shouldn't be too hard for you, my friend. His wife gets home at 6:00 p.m., but we don't know what time the date starts. You'll need a man outside the house before 6:00 p.m. to follow the wife when he picks her up. That's all we need. Send me the wife's address and I'll take care of this for you, my friend, Cooper assured. Henry listened intently to the conversation, a smile creeping onto his face as his brother disconnected. His plan was falling into place, and he was ready to shock his unsuspecting cheating wife. Time was of the essence, so he needed immediate action. While the cheating couple dined, Henry planned to visit Elliot Boyd's wife and explain what was happening and where their spouses were at that moment. Henry's next call was to one of his longtime friends, Jacob, asking him for the number to the escort service he frequented. Jacob, having gone through a bitter divorce and swearing off marriage, satisfied his sexual needs with escorts. Now Henry understood why. No risk of infidelity, just straightforward transactions, likely far less expensive than dealing with a cheating spouse. The conversation with Jacob went smoothly, and Henry managed to arrange an overnight date with a young, alluring blonde, offering an additional $500 tip. Given the unusual circumstances, Henry explained that he was seeking the girlfriend experience, citing a recent breakup. This service offered the simulation of a loving relationship from the moment of meeting. He emphasized the need for discretion, ensuring there wouldn't be any complications for advising the escort to understand the situation in case his wife unexpectedly showed up. Henry instructed her not to disclose her status as a paid escort if confronted, but rather to pose as someone he had met the night before. Henry anticipated his wife walking in on them in bed. If Sophia wanted to pursue a relationship with another man, he was prepared to reciprocate with equal measure, perhaps with a touch of extravagance. They were scheduled to meet at his hotel for drinks, getting acquainted before the evening's activities commenced. Then Henry's plan would be set into motion. Given Sophia's real estate commitments, she never returned home before 7:00 p.m. due to hosting open houses every Saturday. It was shaping up to be one of Sophia's busiest days, and this Saturday wouldn't deviate from the norm, tracing back to Thursday evening when she declared her independence. After Henry stormed out, she sank onto the couch, stewing over their exchange as she vented her frustration to the empty room. I can't believe he acted so childishly, walking out without a word. What a jerk, she sighed. Sophia attempted to reach Henry via calls and texts, growing increasingly aggravated by his lack of response until that one text arrived, the one mentioning betrayal. It made her recoil, causing her to reconsider her plans. Initially viewing the date as harmless fun rather than infidelity, she pushed aside thoughts of betrayal, reassuring herself, it's just one night of fun. Henry will have to get over it and we'll be back to normal. He's overreacting, but he'll forgive me and I'll make it up to him tomorrow night. He can't resist me and I know exactly how to make him forget. That Friday night, she returned home to an empty house, once again deliberating over her plans. Should she proceed with Elliot, or call Henry back and cancel? Despite fleeting doubts, she anticipated a thrilling evening out and resolved to stick to her plans. Taking a leisurely bath, she meticulously groomed herself, shaving her legs, and applying her most alluring scented lotion. Seated at the makeup table, she transformed her pretty face into that of a seductive woman, a smirk playing on her lips as she admired the sultry reflection in the mirror. Selecting a short, provocative dress, she peeled off the tags and hung it on the mirror, slipping into stockings she had reserved for special occasions, attaching them to a new garter belt purchased earlier at Nordstrom's. As she smoothed the to dress provocatively, and a pang of guilt gripped her as she recalled past occasions, including Valentine's Day. The memory of the lingerie set Henry brought home from Victoria's Secret lingered in Sophia's mind, particularly how she had reacted to it. She could still see the pain etched on his face when she had questioned whether he thought she was a slut and declared she wouldn't wear such provocative attire. Frozen in place for what felt like an eternity, she pondered her hypocrisy as she prepared to don similar stockings and garters for another man. This realization gave her pause, prompting her to consider for the first time breaking off the date and calling everything off. Echoes of Henry's accusations of betrayal reverberated in her mind. Yet, it didn't take long for her to suppress her guilt about withholding something from Henry that she was now willing to share with her date. Stepping into the silky dress and zipping it up, she felt a surge of satisfaction at her decision not to wear a bra, relishing the stunning result. Standing before the full-length mirror, she admired her reflection, her long legs accentuated by the black mylons and high heels. The dress hugged her curves, her ample breasts swaying beneath the fabric, nipples subtly protruding. At last she thought, I look like a little minx, but it's exhilarating. Anticipating Elliot's reaction, she reminded herself that tonight was merely about dinner and dancing, not intimacy. Despite her attempts to rationalize it as just a date, Sophia knew deep down she had desires she needed to rein in. The excitement of finally going out with Elliot, something she had fantasized about for weeks, consumed her thoughts. She was determined to have fun, regardless of her husband's petulant behavior. Confident that Henry would ultimately acquiesce, allowing her to have her way as he always did, Sophia cherished the freedom he granted her. But just as she was about to leave, Henry's final phone call interrupted her plans. Giving her one last chance to halt the impending disaster and salvage their marriage, Henry's voice on the other end of the line presented a crucial decision. It was a bitter pill for Henry to swallow, dialing Sophia's number with a heavy heart. Knowing that his love for her ran deep and he would take her back in a heartbeat if she would only stop this from happening, he braced himself to set aside his pride, prepared to humble himself and plead with her to reconsider, to forsake the looming date. Meanwhile, Sophia felt a knot of nerves and guilt tightening in her stomach as she saw Henry's name flash on her phone screen. Even as she gazed at her reflection in the mirror, aware of the allure she exuded, she acknowledged the less than honorable thoughts swirling in her mind. But she knew she needed to hear Henry out to make him understand and accept her decision. Henry, thank you for calling me. I miss you so much and I love you. When are you coming home, baby? She greeted him as she answered. Sophia, I love you too. And that's precisely why I decided to call you, Henry replied, his voice laden with longing. I miss you terribly and my heart is breaking because of what you've said you want to do. I'm begging you, please don't go on this date, just stay home and I'll come over and do whatever you want. I swear I'll make you happy and be the man you need me to be. If there's something I'm not doing right, I can fix it. I just want to be with you. Can you please call off this date for us and save our marriage? Please, Sophia, he implored, his voice faltering with emotion. Hearing Henry's vulnerability tugged at Sophia's heartstrings, evoking a sense of power she hadn't anticipated. Her once stalwart, confident man was now reduced to tears, pleading for her to halt her plans, demonstrating the depth of his love. Despite the pain in his voice, she knew Henry loved her, and she believed he would forgive her as long as he understood her feelings. Their shared history, their children, and the enduring strength of their love reassured her that they were meant to be together. Oh Henry, I love you so much. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together, she confessed, her voice softening. I need to do this tonight, but it has nothing to do with our love for each other. This is just one night for me to break free and do something foolish. Please understand. Just give me this one chance and I promise I'll be yours again forever. I know you're hurting and I'm sorry for that, but you're blowing this out of proportion. It's just dinner and drinks with a friend, nothing more. I'll be home tonight and I'll be yours forever. You'll understand. I know you will, she pleaded, tears welling in her eyes as she spoke to Henry. As she prepared to end the call, her husband's pleading echoed in her ears, but she couldn't bear to listen any longer. Wiping her eyes delicately, careful not to smudge her makeup, she gazed at her reflection in the mirror and spoke softly to herself. I'm sure he thinks I'm being awful about this, but Henry, I'm sorry. I have to do this for myself. Please don't be angry, she murmured. After fixing her hair, touching up her lipstick, and spritzing on her perfume, she attempted to push thoughts of Henry from her mind. Meanwhile, in his hotel room, Henry listened to the call and stared blankly at his phone. Wiping away his own tears, anger simmered within him once more. He had just poured his heart out to his wife, begged and pleaded with her not to go on the date, only to be met with her insistence that it was happening and that everything would be fine tomorrow, expecting him to be understanding. A wave of sorrow washed over him as he realized in that moment that he had lost her, the only woman he had loved and been with for the past 19 years. Hunter, the detective, sat in his white van parked across the street from their home, just shy of 5:00 p.m., observing as Sophia pulled into the garage. An hour later, he noted the arrival of a car in the garage. Quickly jotting down the license plate, Hunter made a few calls, and within 15 minutes he sent Cooper and Henry the requested information. The home address and phone number arrived on both Cooper and Henry's phones well before the couple even left for their date. Meanwhile, as Elliot entered the house, he immediately sensed the melancholy in Sophia's eyes. Recognizing her moment of insecurity and guilt, he knew the signs all too well. It wasn't uncommon for spouses to experience a sudden realization of the gravity of their actions outside of marriage and reconsider their plans. Acting swiftly, he knew precisely what to say. "Sophia, what's the matter? You seem so down," Elliot inquired with concern. Sophia hesitated, her emotions evident as a tear escaped down her cheek. "Elliot, maybe we shouldn't do this. I've been thinking about Henry and how he pleaded with me not to go out with you. I feel so guilty, like I've already betrayed him," she confessed. Without hesitation, Elliot rushed to her side on the couch, enfolding her in a comforting embrace, drawing from his own experiences to offer solace and guidance. It took about an hour, but being a seasoned ladies' man, Elliot possessed a keen understanding of women's emotions and thought processes. He saw this as an opportunity to use his skills to gently sway Sophia's decision. Relishing the challenge, "It's okay, Sophia. We don't have to go through with this," he reassured her, his tone soothing. "I completely understand. Henry's the type who wants to shield his wife from potential threats, but if he knew the genuine bond we share as friends, I'm sure he wouldn't object. I'm disappointed, sure, but I understand." Expressing his disappointment at missing out on their planned evening together, Elliot suggested an alternative. "Why don't we just enjoy a nice dinner together, and then I'll take you home?" Surely he wouldn't have any issue with you having dinner with a friend, he proposed, his easygoing demeanor, convincing Sophia their simple dinner outing would be acceptable. Plus, deep down, she found herself wanting this evening to proceed despite her initial reservations. At 7:30 p.m., Hunter observed as the couple drove off towards a downtown restaurant, and promptly reported their destination to Cooper and Henry. Throughout the evening he kept them updated, capturing photos effortlessly as Elliot and Sophia dined, danced, and shared affectionate moments. Hunter spent the next few hours discreetly documenting their interactions, from tender embraces to passionate kisses on the dance floor. As dawn approached, Hunter diligently compiled all the photos and videos, sending them over to Cooper and Henry before sunrise. At precisely 8 a.m. the next morning, Henry dialed Sophia's father, William, with whom he had shared a close friendship and golf outings for years, to deliver the grim news. "Hello, William, it's Henry," he greeted solemnly. "Hi, Henry, are we still on for golf on Sunday?" William inquired, unaware of the impending revelation. "I'm not sure, but I have some unfortunate news to share. Right now, your daughter is out on a date with a coworker." Henry disclosed, his tone heavy with disappointment. "I thought everything was fine in our relationship, but she expressed the need for more and decided to go out with this guy. You know I care deeply for you and Chloe, but I refuse to tolerate this. I consider our marriage over, she has broken our marital vows, and I cannot forgive her for this betrayal. I just wanted you to understand the reason behind the events that will unfold." "I'm sorry it has to end this way, Henry." William expressed his regret. "Are you telling me she's on a date with another man? That doesn't sound like my girl." Henry's response was firm. "William, I have someone monitoring them as we speak. She is indeed out with him, betraying me, our marriage, and our children at this very moment. Please, Henry, don't do anything rash. I know she loves you, and perhaps you two can work through this," William pleaded, his concerned evidence. "I appreciate your concern, William, but I've made up my mind. I'll call you soon. Let's reschedule our golf game for next Sunday." "It's shaping up to be a difficult weekend," Henry concluded before ending the call. Armed with the address provided by the detective, Henry embarked on a 25-minute drive to Elliot's residence to meet with Mia, his wife. Mia appeared puzzled when Henry inquired if she was Mrs. Watson, Elliot's spouse. The 33-year-old mother of three greeted him at the door, clad in tight jeans, and a lace top that accentuated her ample assets. Despite the temptation, Henry forced himself to maintain eye contact to avoid any awkwardness. "Are you Mrs. Watson, Elliot's wife?" he asked solemnly. "Yes, that's me. Is he all right?" Mia responded with concern. Henry assured her, "Oh, he's in good hands, trust me. He works with my wife. May I come in for a moment?" Mia welcomed him into the living room, where Henry proceeded to deliver the uncertain news. "Mrs. Watson, I regret to inform you that at this very moment, your husband Elliot and my soon-to-be ex-wife are out on a date." Henry disclosed, his turn grave. "Yes, just yesterday my wife expressed her desire to explore new horizons, and she felt compelled to reciprocate the kindness your husband has shown her. Are you certain you have the right man?" "My Elliot is at his usual Friday night card game," Mia interjected, her voice tinged with disbelief. "I wouldn't be here if I were uncertain. My private investigator is currently monitoring them as we speak. I'll have photos and videos to share with you, but I felt you deserved to know." Henry reassured her, his heart heavy with empathy, as he recalled leaving his wife in tears, knowing that their affair likely spelled the end of their marriage. As Henry sat down to enjoy his breakfast back at the hotel, the pleasant aroma of the signature coffee failed to ease his turmoil. Opening the photos from the detective on his phone, he was met with a flood of repulsion and bitterness. Yet, amidst the turmoil there was a sliver of relief. His wife had returned home by 2:30 a.m., and there were no signs of sexual activity that evening. As Henry watched the footage of his wife and her lover, a storm of fury surged within him, mingling with the tears welling in his eyes. Witnessing their intimate moments, from passionate kisses to the touch of her lover's hand on her backside, shattered any lingering hope for reconciliation. The sight of her wearing stockings to her paramour only deepened the wound, reminding him of her dismissive reaction when he had gifted her the same item months earlier. The weight of her betrayal and disrespect pressed heavily upon him, igniting a tumult of emotions ranging from humiliation to profound anger. It was evident that Elliot had persuaded Sophia to prolong their date beyond dinner, leading her down a path that would ultimately seal the fate of their marriage. Deep down, Sophia must have sensed the wrongness of her actions before agreeing to go, driven by a desire for a fleeting experience. As tears bled his vision, Henry found himself engulfed in a sorrow unlike any he had ever known, surpassing even the grief of losing his mother and friends. With each replay of the video, the pain grew more palpable, reaching its zenith as he fixated on the moment Elliot's hand grazed Sophia's backside, her stockings on display. In a moment of raw anguish, Henry's voice echoed in the empty room as he vowed vengeance. "You will pay for this," he declared to the empty air. Amidst his turmoil, he resolved to take action. While Sophia may not have consummated her betrayal with her lover, her actions were a profound affront to their marriage, unacceptable, disrespectful and deeply hurtful. By 1:00 p.m. Saturday afternoon, Henry had arranged to meet Harper at the hotel, spending the next 2 hours outlining his intentions. Henry made his desires clear, and Harper proved to be the perfect accomplice for his plan. They returned to his home a little past 5:00 p.m., and by 6:00 p.m., they found themselves in his bed. Before settling in, Henry carefully placed the note he had prepared for Sophia. Its words bore the weight of his shattered trust and wounded heart. "Sophia, last night you shattered our marriage contract and violated our wedding vows, breaking not only my heart but the very foundation of our union. With the breach of that contract, I can no longer consider us bound in matrimony. Legally, we may still be entwined, but the sanctity of our marriage has been irreparably tarnished. I shall claim the master bedroom as my own, reclaiming the sanctuary of my home. You are free to inhabit any other room, but my bed is no longer a place for you. Your belongings have been relocated to the guest rooms. Please respect my need for personal space. You sought freedom and now you have it. And so do I. May your choices bring you the happiness you desire in your new life. With regret, your ex-husband Henry." With a heavy heart, he removed his wedding ring, laying it atop the letter positioned on the entryway door. Gazing at it sullenly, he punctuated his declaration with a decisive act, plunging the blade of one of his collector knives through the center of the ring, through the letter, and into the wooden door, sealing the finality of their shattered marriage. As Sophia arrived home from work at 6:15 p.m., the first thing that caught her attention was the knife placed in the door. Its presence immediately sent a chilling sensation through her, causing concern to well up in sight. Proceeding cautiously, she approached the door, scanning her surroundings for any other signs of disturbance. As she drew nearer, her eyes fell upon a note addressed to her, accompanied by Henry's wedding ring. Her heart raced and tears welled up in her eyes as she read the contents of the letter. Touching the ring and note tightly, she hurried into the house, desperately searching for Henry to express her desire for him not to leave her. Standing in the hallway, she called out his name amidst her sobs, but the house remained eerily quiet, save for faint sounds emanating from the bedroom. Ascending the stairs, she paused outside the bedroom door, listening attentively to the unmistakable sounds of intimacy. Consumed by a mix of anger and betrayal, she flung the door open, only to be met with the sight of a young and attractive woman straddling her husband, energetically engaged in an intimate act. Sophia stood there in shock, her gaze fixed on the disheartening scene unfolding before her. She watched as the young woman's bosom bounced rhythmically, feeling a surge of indescribable anger building within her. In a voice filled with fury, she screamed at her husband, her words laced with pain and disbelief. "How could you? You bastard!" Overwhelmed by emotions, she swiftly fled from the house, tears streaming down her face, seeking solace in her car. Overcome by a mixture of anger and heartache, Sophia drove over to her sister Olivia's house once she had composed herself enough to stop crying. She recounted to Olivia how she had caught her husband in bed and felt lost, Olivia trying to console her, her disbelief evident. "That doesn't sound like Henry at all," Olivia said, her voice laced with concern. "He always showed so much love and respect for you. I never imagined he would do something like this. What could have caused it?" Through their tears, Sophia replied in a subdued voice, "I don't know. Maybe it's because I went out on a date last night." "A date?" Olivia's voice rose with surprise. "With whom?" "Just a guy from work. It wasn't anything romantic, just dinner and dancing," Sophia explained, her turn defensive. Olivia's disbelief turned to frustration. "Let me get this straight, you went out with another guy, had dinner and dancing, all while leaving Henry alone at home?" Sophia hesitated, realizing the weight of her actions. "Well, yes, but you're making it sound bad because it is bad," Olivia interrupted sharply. "Do you really think Henry would be okay with that? No wonder he's upset." Sophia hung her head, feeling the weight of Olivia's disappointment. "I told him it was just a night out, not about sex, just fun." Olivia shook her head in disbelief. "Holy shit, Sophia, I can't believe he did that. Now I understand why he has someone else in his bed. I don't blame him." Sobbing uncontrollably, Sophia held up the note from the door and handed it to Olivia. "Oh, Sophia, you messed up big time," Olivia remarked, her turn a mix of disappointment and frustration. "You may have lost your husband and ended your marriage out of selfishness and stupidity." "I know," Sophia replied tearfully. "I mess everything up." Olivia sighed. "Look, you can stay here tonight, but you have to go back to him tomorrow and try to straighten things out." "Do you think he'll even listen to me?" Sophia asked, her voice trembling. "I'll call him later and ask him to talk with you," Olivia assured her, though she sounded uncertain. "But you need to prepare yourself for the worst. Henry is much more committed than Elliot. I don't blame him for being upset." Sophia spent the night alone in Olivia's guest room, her mind racing with regret and worry. She cried into the late morning and managed to get very little sleep. The next day, Olivia texted Henry and asked him to call her back. Henry promptly returned her call. "Hi Olivia, what's going on?" he asked. "Hello Henry, my sister's here and she's explained everything that happened last night at your house." Olivia explained. "I certainly don't blame you." Henry chuckled dryly. "Yep, you know me Olivia, I don't tolerate nonsense. I know she messed up, but she's a wreck and I can't handle her like this." Olivia admitted. "You two really need to talk this out tomorrow. I don't know if you're planning to kick her out and I wouldn't blame you, but if she hasn't taken things too far with this guy, maybe there's a chance to salvage things. Have you considered counseling? Or maybe we need to get Sophia some shock treatment for her defective brain," Olivia added sarcastically. "Anyway, please let her come back and talk, Olivia." "Of course she can come back. This is still her home and I didn't kick her out," Olivia assured Henry. "She just won't be with me while she's here. I'm not upset or mad anymore. My anger has been replaced with a deep hurt from her betrayal. I'll let her talk, but no promises about the future. Right now, I hate this woman as much as I love her. The pain is in control of my feelings and emotions at this moment. It would take a miracle for me to want her back. But you know that already. You're the smart one in the family. God, I can't believe my sister thought you would be okay with her going out with some other guy. What an idiot. Be patient and just know she loves you." "Hopefully she didn't go too far with the idiot she was with," Henry replied. "Send her home whenever she wants." "Bye Henry. You're my favorite. You know." "I know. Love you," Olivia replied. By Sunday noon, Henry returned from the gym to find Sophia's car in the driveway and her sitting at the kitchen table. She tried to put on a smile and said, "You know, we're not getting a divorce. We can work this out because we love each other." Henry kept silent, got a cup of coffee and sat across from Sophia, who was nervously rubbing her hands together on her lap. He took a few sips and then looked up at her, finally breaking the silence. "That's fine with me, Sophia. Whether we proceed with a divorce or not, it holds no significance for me anymore. Once you shattered our marriage vows, our union ceased to exist in my eyes. I no longer consider us a couple. From this point forward, you are free to pursue relationships with whomever you please, just as I am. The only changes will be that you won't share my bed and we won't engage in any sexual encounters. That night, you went out with your acquaintance Henry. He's not my acquaintance and nothing inappropriate occurred. Sophia, you went on a date with a man who isn't your husband. You dressed provocatively, had dinner together, held hands, allowed him to touch your buttocks and breasts and even kissed him. You spent a time together with him. You see, that's the issue. While you view your actions as insignificant, to me they meant everything. They marked the end of our marriage. So, if you want a divorce you can have it." "No, I don't desire a divorce." Give us some time and I'll return to sharing your bed. Now, are you finished engaging in sexual activities with the person you refer to as a little slut? I refuse to tolerate such behavior. I burst into laughter and exclaimed, now that's amusing. It was you who broke our marital commitment, not me. The moment you accepted a date with your boyfriend, you set me free. You abandoned our marriage the instant you got into his car. I have no intention of ending my time with Harper. She's young, attractive, delightful, and sexually satisfying. Her intimate connection is intense and she is an incredible lover. To be honest, it was the most fulfilling sexual experience I've ever had. We explored activities that you never offered me and now I know what I've been missing. Why on earth would I give that up? I'm not sure you know this yet, Sophia, but last night, while you were out with your boyfriend, I paid a visit to his lovely wife, Mia. Did you know they have 3 beautiful children? Never mind. I'm sure you didn't even give that a thought while you were out with your lover boy. Anyway, she told me some interesting things about Mr. Nice Guy. Did you know that you were the 3rd woman that Mia has caught him with in the last year? She also told me that Charlotte Bryant from your office was the last married wife you cheated with and caused her divorce. Your Elliot boy has quite the history, but Mia told me she's done. She said that she finally realized that once a cheater, always a cheater. I guess you're in that category now as well. I'm thinking you could have found a better lover to cheat on me with, but I'm not a cheater and wouldn't know it. Looks like you and Elliot boy succeeded in breaking up 2 families with 5 children. Nice work. That shocked her and I could see how she realized that the guy she decided to risk her marriage with was just another sleazy guy looking for sex. She was furious with herself for her foolishness and the news of Elliot's breakup with other families horrified her. The anger inside her boiled over and she lost control, unleashing her fury on her husband. Henry, he's not my boyfriend and you have to stop saying that. I can't believe you went to her house and told her that he was cheating on her. My God, it was just dinner. You really are cruel and hurtful. And what about you? Being with another woman in my home is unforgivable. That has to stop. It was just a dinner. Did you forget about the dirty dancing, kissing and fondling at the club? I promised Mia a copy of all the photos and videos which she can use when Elliot tries to explain that it was just dinner like you did to me. I realize that in your mind that's not cheating. But to the rest of the normal world, that is exactly the definition of cheating. Giving yourself to someone outside your marriage is a betrayal. When will you get that through your thick skull? So you think I'm cruel and hurtful? I'm curious. How do you define what you did, loving and caring? No, I'm not giving up my time with Harper. And if you can't accept that, you don't have to be here. No, Henry. I want you to stop seeing her and be with me. I won't see anybody else, I promise. You promise? Oh, you promised? I see. That's funny. You promised to be my wife, forsaking all others. And that promise got blown out of the water, didn't it? So Sophia, the way I see it is, if you don't like the arrangement, you are free to leave or divorce. Maybe you should go live with your lover, since you'll need a new place to call home. You and him, you're a perfect match, aren't you? Well, you're welcome to stay here. Or perhaps you prefer moving in with your sister, Olivia? I'm sure she'd be thrilled to have you around, setting such a wonderful example for her daughters, Henry. Are you planning to end things with that woman? Do you even love me? Do you want us to reconcile and be together again? Sophia, it's far too late for that. The moment you expressed your desire to be with another man, you shattered me. Well, my heart is filled with it, but trust is in short supply. I'm not certain I can ever trust and love someone who could discard me so easily. A real man wouldn't stand for his wife being with another man. Yet that's exactly what you did. You made it clear that you intended to pursue a relationship outside of our marriage, regardless of my objections. Now that you've opened the door to that possibility, you'll have to accept my desires as well. And right now, I desire to be with Harper, a young, vibrant woman who fulfills me in ways I never imagined. I suppose seeing me happy with another woman doesn't sit too well with you, does it? Well, now you understand some of the pain I've endured, and now you'll have to face the consequences of your actions. Karma's a real kicker, but tough luck. As for divorce, that's your call. We can continue living together as roommates and see where things lead. Alternatively, if you give the green light, I'll have divorce papers drawn up within a week. It's your call, sweetheart, I asserted firmly. She understood the gravity of my words and didn't dare challenge me in that moment. Over the next month, I brought Harper home every weekend, indulging in passionate encounters multiple times a day. Her smooth skin was like paradise, and being with her helped me regain the confidence that Sophia's betrayal had stripped away. Sophia despised those weekends and pleaded with me to end things with Harper. But I persisted in enjoying the excitement. Sophia would leave as soon as Harper, and I arrived home on Saturday nights, only returning once Harper had departed. We had an agreement that I would notify Sophia via text once Harper had left. Although I found satisfaction in our encounters and took some pleasure in Sophia's discomfort, guilt began to creep back into my conscience the following week. I realized that despite the incredible physical connection with Harper, there was a lack of genuine intimacy, and the financial cost was becoming burdensome. Upon Sophia's return on Sunday nights, I declared that I would take a break from seeing Harper and explore other options. Sophia begged me to reconcile and cease seeing other women, admitting her mistake and professing her desire to have only me in her life. "Henry, you've punished me enough," she pleaded. "Every week, I had to watch that girl come into our home and be with the only man I love. The pain is unbearable, and I can't bear to see you with another woman. Please give me a chance. I know I can't compete with someone like her, but I can offer you love and things nobody else can." Her words caught me off guard. "Love, do you even know what that is, Sophia?" I countered. "Love isn't turning your back on your spouse to announce you're going to date other men. No, I don't think you truly understand what love really is, and therefore there's no way to give something you don't have. But here's what I'll do. I won't date anyone until we seek couples counseling. If we can work through our issues, then maybe we can salvage a future together." She leaped off the couch, enveloping me in a tight hug and covering my face with kisses, finally landing on my lips. "Oh, thank you, baby," she exclaimed. "I promise I'll make this up to you." "Not so fast," I interjected sternly. "I'm not forgiving you for what you've done. I'm just giving us one last chance before I consider ending things for good." "Henry, don't talk like that," she protested. "You love me and I know we'll always be together. Can I sleep with you tonight, please?" she pleaded, kissing me. "No, not yet," I replied firmly. "I still can't shake the images of you with that guy from my mind. The thought of you kissing another man and letting him touch parts of you that were rightfully mine still torments me every minute of the day. I'm beyond angry at you for recklessly hurting me and destroying our marriage. You're incredibly lucky that our kids aren't aware of this. I can't even imagine what they would think of their mother acting like a slut. Clearly, I'm still seething over what you've done. Let's take things slow and see how counseling goes." I scheduled an appointment with Dr. Hayes for that Tuesday, kicking off the challenging journey of revisiting the affair, the pain and the agony twice a week for the next 3 months. It was the same old therapy routine you've heard in countless stories, and it was just as agonizing. I had to confront the affair head-on and endure endless hours of psychobabble. Life would have been much simpler if only she'd have remained faithful to our vows, but apparently, that was too much to ask for. After 3 months of counseling twice a week, we managed to work through it. Sophia finally grasped the extent of the pain and hurt she had caused, and she understood my reaction. She argued that my act of revenge was far worse, but I countered that she broke our contract and granted me my freedom the moment she agreed to go on a date with another man. Eventually, she came to see my perspective, though she wasn't thrilled about it. The counselor, on the other hand, gave me a hard time for seeking revenge, but frankly, I didn't give a damn. I'd do it all over again without hesitation. I took her back under a post-nuptial agreement in which she forfeits everything in the event of any extramarital affair. She consented to a GPS tracker on her phone, as well as granting me access to her emails and text messages with complete honesty and transparency, no more deceit. I explained that there would be a zero-tolerance policy in our home, and I made it clear that any type of infidelity, whether emotional or physical, would result in her being kicked out. She promised never to allow another man to flirt with her again and vowed to remain faithful forever. However, I couldn't shake Mia's words. Once a cheater, always a cheater. A year later, we were back to where we were before her escapade, but now I kept a much closer eye on my spouse, knowing that this could happen again. I assisted Olivia and I worked together to ensure that Sophia didn't lose her way again. Elliot's divorce was expensive. He lost everything. His wife kicked him out, got the house, child support for 3 children and alimony. Now, Elliot was living in a studio apartment with no extra money after paying for his infidelity. Ironically, Elliot lost everything over a dinner, a few dances, some flirting and a few kisses. What a fool. Sophia was horrified when she learned about Elliot's previous affairs and how he had caused Sophie's divorce. Understanding the consequences, she realized how close she had come to ruining her life and the love from her family. She vowed never to make that mistake again and was determined to prove her love to Henry and the children. Despite her commitment to fidelity, Sophia couldn't shake the memory of seeing another woman with her husband, and she vowed never to let him have that opportunity again. He was hers after all. Unfortunately for Elliot, engaging in affairs with married women proved to be both costly and painful. While Henry wasn't the vengeful type, had Elliot followed through with his actions, the outcome could have been very different. It's often said that unwilling cuckolds never forget and eventually seek revenge. About a year and a half later, George, the cuckolded husband of Sophie from Sophia's office, encountered Elliot in a pub parking lot. An hour later, Elliot was found unconscious with severe injuries. Only time would tell if he had learned his lesson. And that's how one night of just dinner and dancing turned into a storm that nearly destroyed two families. Henry didn't ask for revenge, but Sophia handed it to him on a silver platter. Was he right to take her back under strict conditions? Or should he have walked away for good? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because this story hits differently for everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more raw and real Reddit stories just like this one. Until next time, stay strong, stay smart, and never ignore the red flags.